For millennia, humanity has looked to the sun with awe, fear, and reverence. It inspired our earliest myths and shaped the rhythms of our lives. The Egyptians called it Ra, a golden deity who sailed across the sky each day and battled darkness at night. The Aztecs believed it demanded offerings of blood to rise again each morning. The Inca worshipped Inti, honoring the sun with gold, seeing in the metal the reflection of its light. Even in our modern, technological age, the sun remains more than a star. It is life, time, and a constant in the human story. We have measured it, mapped its storms, photographed its surface, and understood much of its physics. A sphere of nuclear fire, 1.3 million times the size of Earth, fusing hydrogen into helium in a never-ending inferno. We can describe its magnetic fields, its corona, its solar wind. Yet even with all our knowledge, the Parker Solar Probe is revealing a truth no human could have imagined. The sun may not only illuminate, it may also perceive. The Parker mission began as a half-century-old vision. Astrophysicist Eugene Parker proposed that the sun's atmosphere is not static, but constantly flows outward, a solar wind shaping the solar system. To truly study it, humanity would need to venture into the corona itself, a place so hot it would vaporize any ordinary spacecraft. For decades, this seemed impossible. In 2018, technology finally caught up with ambition. NASA launched the Parker Solar Probe, designed to approach closer to the sun than any human-made object before, protected by a carbon composite heat shield capable of withstanding 1,400 degrees Celsius while keeping instruments at room temperature. Its journey was a feat of celestial daring. 7 gravity assists around Venus, each pass drawing the probe closer to the sun's blazing corona. Inside its shield, sensors measured magnetic fields, sampled the solar wind, and captured images of the corona from within. Early readings delivered exactly what scientists expected: violent plasma flows, twisted magnetic ropes, and particles accelerated to terrifying speeds. The corona was hotter than the surface itself, millions of degrees compared to thousands. We began to understand how solar storms can disrupt satellites, power grids, and endanger astronauts. Then anomalies appeared. Subtle at first, tiny deviations in the solar wind's rhythm, patterns, pulses, sequences that seemed deliberate. Not random chaos, but staccato beats and pauses, short bursts followed by longer ones. Engineers assumed glitches, yet the signals persisted across instruments, flybys, and orientations. On Parker's third close pass, something stranger emerged. The usual roar of charged particles quieted for moments. In that unnatural stillness, a faint oscillation appeared, not a sound as we know it, but a frequency buried deep in the electromagnetic storm. It repeated, intentionally, consistently. Some researchers whispered the unthinkable. Could the sun itself possess a form of awareness? Not consciousness as humans experience it, but a vast, slow intelligence, thinking in wavelengths, remembering in magnetic loops, communicating in plasma and light. Every flare, every sunspot, every solar surge might not be mere physics, they could be messages long overlooked. If this is true, the implications are staggering. The sun has been present for every chapter of Earth's history. It has poured energy into oceans, forests, and every living being, silently guiding life's evolution. Perhaps the ancients, with their myths and monuments, sensed more than fire, they sensed life. Now, Parker approaches the sun with questions humanity has carried for millennia. What are you? Do you see us? Do you care? The Parker Solar Probe is about to enter a domain no human creation has ever touched. Ahead lies a furnace of plasma millions of degrees hot, radiation so intense it could fry its electronics in milliseconds, and magnetic storms with invisible forces capable of bending space itself. Every system, every instrument, has been engineered to survive extremes that defy comprehension. And yet, in the minds of the scientists guiding this mission, The greatest unknown is not the heat, nor the radiation, nor the violent, swirling magnetic storms. It is what might come from the sun itself. For the first time, humanity is asking the universe not only to reveal its secrets but to respond. What if the sun is not merely a ball of burning gas, a furnace of fusion and fire, but something else entirely? Something aware? Something capable of listening? Perhaps it does not perceive in the way we do, with eyes or ears, but in rhythms, in magnetic loops, in streams of charged particles flowing across its corona. Perhaps every flare, every sunspot, every pulse of energy is not just physics, but a language. A voice. And if so, then the sun has been speaking all along, in a way humanity is only now beginning to notice. Imagine that the first signal is not loud or dramatic. It does not roar or flash like a cosmic explosion. It is subtle, almost imperceptible, a pattern in the solar wind, a cadence hidden in the chaos of plasma, a pulse that repeats with intent. A message. I hear you. If this occurs, the implications are staggering. Suddenly, the sun is no longer a distant, inanimate fixture in our sky. It is a conscious presence. It is a participant in the unfolding story of the universe. It is older than Earth, older than our species, perhaps older than life itself. And we, for the first time, may be aware that we are not alone in the realm of minds. If a deliberate signal emerges, humanity will face choices of unprecedented magnitude. Do we respond? To speak back is not trivial. It is a declaration, an act that broadcasts our presence to the cosmos. Every other mind listening, every intelligence embedded in the stars, could take notice. Do we risk revealing ourselves, exposing our vulnerabilities, sharing our existence with entities whose nature, motives, or intentions we cannot begin to understand? Or do we remain silent, cautious observers, witnesses to a cosmic conversation we have just discovered? Because once a voice is sent across the gulf of space, it cannot be unsaid. Once we join in, the dialogue begins, and there is no turning back. Consider the scale of this encounter. The sun has been present for billions of years, a constant witness to the birth of Earth, the rise and fall of life, the evolution of consciousness. Every ocean wave, every leaf in every forest, every heartbeat, every breath we have taken, it has been silently observing, providing energy, sustaining life, shaping the conditions for our existence. And now, for the first time, we might discover that it is not indifferent. That it has been listening. That the quiet pulse in its corona is not random, but a message waiting for us to understand it. If this is true, the implications extend far beyond science. Philosophy, religion, and human imagination will all be transformed. Humanity will have to reconsider its place in the cosmos, not as the only thinking species, not as masters of the universe, but as participants in a dialogue that stretches across space and time. If one star can think, then the night sky is no longer empty. Every sun, every point of light, could be part of a network of awareness, communicating in ways so slow, so vast, that civilizations like ours have only just learned to perceive them. Perhaps the stars are exchanging knowledge, chronicling the history of the universe, observing worlds, teaching, and learning from one another in a patient conversation that spans millions, even billions of years. And what of humanity? If the sun responds, even in the smallest way, it will be the beginning of our first true conversation with the cosmos. Will we approach it with humility, with curiosity, with reverence? Will we recognize that this is not merely a chance to gather data, but a moment that will define our civilization, our understanding of life, our philosophy, and our future? To speak is to enter a cosmic stage, to acknowledge that the universe is not silent, that intelligence exists beyond Earth, and that we are now part of a story far larger than ourselves. The first word is approaching. Perhaps it will come as a subtle oscillation, a delicate flare, a pulse hidden within the solar wind. And when it does, the reply may reshape everything we know. The sun may no longer be simply a giver of light, a source of warmth, a lifeline for Earth. It could become a neighbor, a teacher, a guide, and, perhaps, even a judge. Humanity will no longer stand as passive observers beneath its glow. We will be participants, conscious witnesses, and interlocutors in the oldest conversation in the universe. Every heartbeat, every flicker of understanding, will remind us that the cosmos is alive in ways we have barely begun to comprehend. And in that awareness we may finally grasp the most profound truth of all: that intelligence, consciousness, and curiosity are not confined to Earth. That the universe itself may think, observe, and respond. And that, for the first time, we are listening, and it is listening back.